Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Liquid Pasture Community League Season number 3. That's right, this is the first week of Season number 3, and welcome back. I hope you all have enjoyed the little bit of a break. I am excited, I'm not going to lie. I am really happy to be bringing you this game between GGUnit and OxBros here with the Radiant side and Dire team, respectively. Alright, joining me today is actually a brand new co-caster, so brand new co-caster for Season 3. None other than last year's captain of the winning team, Allure. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Doing great. Looking forward to this game.
Yeah, so am I. I'm so happy to be back to casting, actually. It's like that itch you just can't scratch sometimes, you know? It's just, you feel it after being away from it so long. So, anyway, why don't we get right into it? Pick some bands so far. Batrider, Wisp, and Lone Druid all banned out. Pretty standard, I'd say.
Yeah, this is looking fairly common so far.
Yeah, nothing really about... Nothing really so far that screams 6.78, which is now what we're playing on. I want to talk about the new patch just for a minute. I love it so far. I don't know about how you feel, but for me personally, as a spectator and a commentator and everything else like that, I absolutely have to say it's a wonderful patch, and it's just so much fun to watch the games right now.
I don't know, dude. That band was horrible patch. No, in all seriousness, it's really great. It's bringing a lot of versatility to both pub and competitive games, so liking it a lot. I mean, we're still seeing a lot of 6.7 heroes, or 7.7 heroes, still. But I think as we go further into the tournaments, I think we'll see the metagame evolve and a lot more new picks being picked up.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been noticing a lot of is that DK has been picked up a lot, and he was being picked up a lot at this end of 6.77. And actually, DreamHack's going on right now. If you've watched any of DreamHack at all, I'm sure everybody's noticed the Spectre picks from every team. I think Spectre was in all the games of Group A for DreamHack, so it's a little bit interesting with that. I'm curious to see if that's going to continue or not.
Yep.
But speaking of 6.78 and that, here we have Treant Protector picked up in the second as the second pick from OxBros.
I really like it. Treant is an incredibly annoying hero to play against, and you can lane him in a lot of ways. I think especially for games like these in the TL Patriot League where the level varies a lot, Treant can be incredibly powerful for just helping out all the other lanes, making sure nothing really goes wrong anywhere.
Living Armor is a hell of a spell. Let's just put it that way. It's a heal, it's a damage block, and then on top of that, I mean, I don't even think Leech Seed is that bad. Leech Seed is a little bit of a slow, and then some damage over time, which damage over time is... it depends on the composition, in my opinion. But then you also have the ultimate, which kind of wraps everything up pretty well together, in my opinion.
Yeah. So I mean, we see GGUnit picking up a Rubik here, which I really like. Gyrocopter's ulti, as well as Treant's Living Armor, are both insanely great spells to steal. Nothing better than getting that Treant heal once your towers are all starting to get low and just healing everything back up.
That certainly does make it very annoying to try to go through, and whenever you want to go to push, it definitely creates a lot of issues. That's for sure. You really have to commit to a push in order to take a tower against a Treant Protector.
We see Tidehunter here in the next picking phase being picked up. Really good team fight so far for GGUnit.
Yep, and he got a little bit of a buff, actually. His Ravage radius was increased to be 1025 across all levels, so that's a pretty decent buff, I think, in all honesty. And it's something that I'm a little happy about. I like Tidehunter. I think I like that big AoE ultimate that he has. It just changes the team fight. It's like the same thing as now how we're seeing a little bit more Enigma picked up. It's just it's flashy, and you know what? I don't care. I like it. I like watching it.
Yeah, I think the big question here becomes how they're gonna lane this, because while Tide brings a lot to teamfights and is a strong hero in general, his laning is really the big puzzle with him, I feel, because he's not necessarily the most, or he's decent in tri-lanes, but the problem is that he doesn't get the level he wants. If that's what you do. And in solo lanes, his performance varies a lot. There are a lot of matchups that are very tough for him, so I'm looking forward to seeing how GGUnit lane this, because if they can get tight under those levels, he can really be an impactful hero.
Well, the other thing is that they're also going to have to get Rubik those levels, because Rubik also really is a hero that wants to get level 6 as well, and that's interesting, a Drow Ranger pickup.
I think this could be a Rubik type Drow tri-lane, which actually seems pretty powerful. I mean, that Gush armor reduction for even better Drow Ranger physical damage output seems pretty nice. One downside though is that all their damage is dealt over few instances rather than many, which is going to make Treant Protector's armor even better. They don't have like a really fast dot or an Ion Shell or something like that to take care of that, so...
Yeah, the Darkseer was banned out. Sorry to interrupt, but the Darkseer was banned out, and Darkseer is one of the best counters to the Treant Protector. The living armor is just eaten through almost immediately via the Ion Shell, and so it's difficult to keep your target healing through that. And I do see exactly what you mean. They have a lot of bursts between the Queen of Pain, between the Tidehunter and the Rubik, and it's that living armor is going to be infinitely more valuable if you can get a long duration off of it with the charges, so to speak.
And for OxBros, was it?
Yep.
I think we're looking at oh shit. This is the infamous OD mid with Treant Protector. Absolute pain to go up against for any mid hero, really. And
especially an int mid hero, which it looks to be Queen of Pain.
Yeah, so look for OxBros to win that mid matchup. This is looking like a Gyro easy lane with a Treant Protector supporting him and the Clockwork off lane.
And I have to say, I really like what OxBros has done here. They have a good mid game. They have initiation. They have the team fight. They've pretty much managed to secure almost everything that they want out of their first 4 picks. You have the Outworld Devourer, who, when the Gyrocopter is not going to be as good, can be run, or can step up and get the damage output that they need. So it allows the Gyro to build a little bit more tanky, a little bit more durable, so that he can build the damage items when the BKBs start coming up and Outworld starts to fall off.
I see a Lich pick here from GGUnit. This is actually Liquid just ran this in DreamHack very few hours ago. They ran Alex Mike on the solo offlane Lich, which I think is what we'll see here as well. It's a pretty nice pick, very uncommon in terms of what we've been seeing for a long time when it comes to offlaners, but I think it can work, and it's really nice for that that denial, which is going to reduce Gyro's farm by a decent amount.
My only concern with this is that usually if you're going to go with something like that, it can afford you the chance to play a little bit more greedy with, say, a dedicated jungler. And I don't really see that right now out of the GGUnit team. I might have liked to see something like a Chen or an Enchantress or something more along those lines. Or even an Enigma of their own if they were planning on picking up that Lich, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's really depends on what you want to do, and there's always a trade there, because with this tri-lane, they're going to shut down the clock, presumably a bit harder than they would have with a dedicated jungler. And another option that they will also have is to roam. A Rubik Tidehunter makes for quite a potent roaming combination. That will, however, be stalled slightly by the living armor. So, I mean, they could go mid for OD, but they would have to need some levels on Quap to actually kill him.
Alright, it looks like we're going to have a pause here. While we're doing that, why don't we introduce the teams? For the Radiant side, we have Ambient on the Rubik, Mint playing the Queen of Pain, Impervious on the Lich, Team on the Tidehunter, and GG Thanks on the Drow Ranger.
And for Team OxBros, we have Omni Eulogy on Enigma, Anti-G, Box on Clockwork, we got Trash on Treant Protector, and Greg on Gyro, leaving our boxes on, what was that last hero?
It was the OD.
OD, right, yeah.
Yep, there he is. Alright, looks like they're fixing some keybinds right now. I am curious, actually. I am a little bit curious to see if it is going to be the Lich on the off lane, or if they're going to end up putting the Tidehunter there. It is their two options, but I feel like the Lich would be the better way to go. I definitely agree with you in that way.
I think they're going to go with Lich. The sacrifice is going to be put to great use, and Tidehunter will still be able to get some levels through pulling if they can set that up. They could also use him to roam. So yeah, that's probably what's going to happen.
Yep. Does seem like the Tidehunter is going into the bottom, so it is going to be a defensive tri-lane Tidehunter. And Clockwork is actually immediately off and running. And one of the biggest things about the 6.78 patch is now that you don't have those second set of Absorber wards, you have to do something like this where you use the sentries if you want to try to block the camp and still maintain vision across the map. I haven't been watching a lot of the Chinese Dota, but I'm curious to see how exactly they've been handling it. Do you have any idea about that? I'm not sure.
No, I haven't really been keeping up with Super League since the patch, but I could imagine that it has quite an impact. So we see the pull being blocked here by a sentry, but the Radiant team also have some sentries of their own, so if they execute that properly, they should be able to remove that ward. It is, however, placed in a slightly tricky position, so the Radiant team is going to have to be slightly aware of what's going on if they are to remove that ward.
I mean, yeah, they're probably going to end up spending both the sentries just to deward that, but the two sentries should be able to what do you call it?
That's interesting. We have Lich denying a creep in the middle wave to secure or to help Quap out in that mid matchup.
And I think that's actually the right play, to be honest. Queen of Pain is going to need a lot of help against this OD right off the bat.
I mean, I can see what they're going for, but I don't know. I still think it doesn't impact mid enough to warrant that, really, because that denying that first creep on the wave in the top lane would potentially screw up the equilibrium for Gyrocopter, which allows Lich to get a lot more XP. So, I mean, let's see how this plays out, but I think a deny on top would definitely have helped out Lich quite a bit as well.
Well, one of the biggest things about this is I feel like the Lich can afford to play a little bit more aggressive because they have the Enigma. And he knows he has at least a little bit of time before the Enigma hits too, and he's going to have the Malefice. And even then, I mean, with a bit of map awareness, and it's going to be difficult regardless to try to keep an eye on where the Enigma is coming from. But he's going to be...
The equilibrium is actually already screwed up here for Gyro, so it actually turned out to not matter very much, which is going to be getting some levels near that tower, which is going to be very nice for him.
Anyway, taking a look down at mid, let's see what we got. We got OD, he has the Null Talisman up.
Yeah, he's been pooled, it looks like. Instant Null Talisman, and then some regen from his teammates. A pooled OD with 3 in armor, that's something I would do in Teal houses. Very powerful. Yes,
that is very powerful. And right now, Queen of Pain does have 8 intelligence stolen from her, so she's not too happy right now. And there's actually another Astral Imprisonment.
There's a damage difference by around 30, so Quap is actually doing fairly well, considering the circumstances, I feel.
Actually, what's funny right now is that the Drought Ranger is, despite having pretty much what I would call a free lane, I mean, I haven't watched it that much to know where Clockwork's been, but Drought Ranger's pretty much had an easy lane here, and she's behind, actually, on the mid OD.
I think it's that good old Grow attack animation.
Yeah.
Screwing her up.
Yeah.
There's quite a bit of wind up on that one, so you need to be used to that to last it effectively.
I'm still not sure if her animation is worse than Clinks's, but at least Clinks has the Searing Arrows to make up for it. Drought Ranger really doesn't get any damage until Precision Aura kicks in.
Yeah, and the downside of our Precision Aura, though, is that the lane is going to be pushing because of the extra damage on the range creeps, which it seems like it's already happening, so that's going to help Clockwork out quite a bit.
Yeah, and in this case, you really have to have your supports heavily denying the creep waves in order to keep that equilibrium for you.
I mean, it does help her out with last hitting, but since it's a free lane, even with her animation, I feel like you should be able to last hit pretty well. So I actually wouldn't mind seeing her either just saving skill points or going straight up frost arrows, silence, and stats, just to keep the lane equilibrium. It's not like you're gonna be using that aura all that much.
And actually, a big thing about it is I'm kind of surprised that she doesn't have the silence, because the silence, even at level 1, is a 3-second duration that you get free hits on clock without him being able to cog if you want to go on him. So I feel like the silence would definitely be a lot more useful to her right now.
Yep, I mean with a lift and a gush, I think a kill is possible. I mean they do have a tree armor that they're going up against, but I think they could try for it. Looking at Enigma's jungle, he's farming very successfully up at 29 last hit so far. He's going for the Eidolon build.
And I actually just missed First Blood. First Blood, the gyrocopter gets it up on the Lich here. And yeah, he dove under the tower for it, but a little bit of a...
Lich didn't have boots as opposed to gyro, so that was just the good old Rocket Barrage First Blood. Saw a lot of that in the Western qualifiers, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think actually Gyro was the one who had the most First Bloods, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, and now he's even actually got phase boots up and going, so it's just getting up that... he's getting up a pretty mid-game so far oriented build. I'm curious to see if he's going to go for a Ring of Aquila, or if he's going to go into...
yeah, definitely looks like an Aquila, along with a wand for some powerful mid-game gyro ownage. Lich is going to be in trouble up here. Phase Booch gyro is a very lethal thing.
And it looks like
we could see him going down.
Looks like Queen of Pain went bottom here just to see it with a haste rune to see if she could do anything to that clock, but unfortunately it doesn't look like that. Right now, OD's actually winning mid pretty handily. He's a full level up on Queen of Pain, level 6 as compared to level 5.
Yeah, and 17 last hits ahead, as well as 8 denies ahead, so this tree and OD combo is causing some serious issues for Team GG.
However, he is looking to go for an extended laning phase build. He's got 3 points up into Essence Aura and 3 points up into Astral Imprisonment. So no orb yet, and he actually skipped his ultimate.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, if he harasses Quap a bit with just strike clicks, an kill with ulti is not impossible, but...
up top, looks like Lich is pretty well dead.
Yeah, we saw Enigma coming through the river there.
Yep, there you go. 2 kills there for the gyrocopter. Lich... Actually, if you got... I don't know if you were watching, Enigma actually had smoked up and came through the river behind him, so there wasn't really much that Lich could do. He got caught out beyond the river and paid the price for it.
Yeah, and you touched on this in the drafting phase about the jungler for the Dire team, and it seems to really be paying off for them, both on the XP and on the gold drafts. They're significantly ahead considering how early it is in the game, and those 2 supports from Radiant are now trying to achieve something mid with that roaming I talked about.
Yep. So Gush comes out. He actually Astral imprisons the Tidehunter, trying to get away. No tree and armor coming in just yet, but there is a TP from Enigma. Enigma does have Black Hole up. They got to watch out here. Oh, stun up on the Queen of Pain. He's going to walk right through. I don't know.
See, if Odie had leveled ult there, I really feel like could have gotten some kills. That max Essence Aura build, I kind of question that.
Yep. And actually, Enigma just didn't have enough mana for the Black Hole, but he's got to watch himself,
he's gonna get sandwiched by Titan Pop.
But
he's all alone, so...
The living armor is there, though, so he'll be fine.
And Tide didn't have mana for Gush.
Yep. So, failed gank attempt on OD mid. He's actually made up the buckler already, so he's going to be going into a mech right away. And I have to say, that's actually probably one of my favorite OD builds. Ever since people started doing it, it's been absolutely one of my favorite OD builds.
It's very effective. I mean, the hero's weak point is definitely his vulnerability. He has no real escapes. I mean, his Astral Imprisonment can be used defensively, but that's not really all that much. So mech really helps him stay alive, and I mean, he has damage enough as it is, so it's an all-around great item on him.
Yep.
In addition to that, it was kind of free the Enigma up to go off as Blink Dagger, which can really catch Radiant off by surprise and will allow for some big wombo combos along with the Gyro ulti, Tree ulti, and OD ultis, so looking forward to that.
Now, one of the biggest things that I notice about both these teams is actually both of them have really good team fight, I have to say. I'm not really sure who if you could definitively say one has better than the other. It's going to be a matter of who has the better initiation and what's going to happen with that. I think...
Yeah, there's definitely quite a bit of wombo combo power on both of these teams.
Mm-hmm. And I think you're going to start to see a little bit of that as soon as the clock hits 6. Because I feel like once the clockwork hits 6, that the Dire team is going to want to get going. And OD, he's...
up top.
Up top. Nope. But in mid here, actually, OD does manage to Astral the Queen of Pain. And so the gank attempt on him again has come to a standstill. Tidehunter is really sitting under leveled, though. And this is the biggest part about it, where we were talking about how you can afford to be greedy. They're not really doing a whole lot. They aren't killing the clockwork. And Tidehunter is just kind of sitting mid and hoping that he can get a gank off on the OD. And he's level 3 right now.
This Tidehunter pick definitely is not achieving all that much for his team right now.
No. And actually what's kind of funny is that Clockwork's pretty successful in harassing the Drow Ranger. She has no regen left. Rubik's used up all his regen. And Drow's sitting on 250 health. And that's, I mean... 2-3 more rockets and a clockwork hook, maybe, or a rocket and a clockwork hook.
Right now, and Rubik is not very quick on the lift. Ro is going to be in trouble.
Yep.
And with some help from Tree Armor. Oh, actually, Rubik is really low as well. Clock could go for some big plays right here. Oh, and he's looking to die.
He's looking. Oh.
He turns around.
Yep.
Thinks better of it.
Rubik also, though, is sitting very low. I mean, if you pop the cogs in the right spot, you could probably get a double kill on that. That's a solo clock.
Harass from the level 3 rockets is doing a lot to that drone Rubik, because neither of them have any sustainability, really, and this is forcing Joe to back, which is very damaging to her farm.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the board for last hits and denies, she's not doing very well. The top 3 farmers are all on the Dire team.
Yep, I mean, you have Enigma who's... I mean, obviously it's jungle creep, so it's not going to be worth as much as the lane, but 68 last hits, Gyro up top with 50, and then the OD sitting mid has 51, and the Queen of Pain's 18, so he's really taking it to mid.
Yeah, and Enigma has the go for a Blink Dagger now if he wants it, so...
I think, in all honesty, a BKB might be better for him, but
yeah,
he can afford
to
go for either one, I think, because Tidehunter is really underleveled.
Clock gets ganked bottom by a 4-man gank, which keep it in from top with ulti. I mean, it's a nice kill, but it's also a huge investment, so...
Yep.
Not the biggest deal.
Nope, and actually Chain Frost was used during that so that's going to be down for a little while. Rubik, though, has managed to almost get himself level 6. And Tidehunter, I mean, Tidehunter's still the furthest behind.
Yeah, level 4 Tidehunter at 12 minutes in is not ideal for his team. They really need to get him those levels, because his ulti is going to be essential to their teammates.
Yeah, they're really not going to have any ability to cancel out the black hole without his ulti. Because, I mean, other than the Rubik lift, if he happens to not get caught, that's all the stunts. Well, that's right. The Drow Ranger silence will do that. Never mind. Forget what I was saying.
On Lich top here.
Yep. Rocket Barrage and the
from the mid lane. So Gyro might actually be in a bit of trouble here. If Bob can line up her ulti. Never mind Tree Armor.
Yep.
Gets away safely.
And actually has enough health to go and harass the Queen of Pain back behind the tower. And I think right now we're just seeing the power of that Tree Armor, right in action, to be honest. It's so much block and it's so much regen that there's not a whole lot you can really do about that right now. And as we're saying that, also, Outworld Devourer has managed to finish up his mech.
Yep, I think you're right about the BKB call on Enigma. That does seem like what he's going for. He has 3,200 saved up now, so definitely getting closer to that BKB. going to be coming in a few minutes here.
So he's really close to that, and with the mech also being up, Outworld is almost level 11, so he's going to have his level 2 ultimate, and that's just going to eat through everybody on the enemy team, with maybe the exception of the Queen of Pain, but I think they have enough lockdown for her, or not enough lockdown, but enough damage just in the pure burst that they could be able to get her pretty easily.
Well, the Radiant team does have quite a few in-heroes, but many of them have very little health, being Rubik and Lich.
Yep.
And Quab doesn't actually have that much either, but she can hopefully blink away.
Meanwhile, Tidehunter has picked up his arcane boots. So, probably going to be going for a Blink Dagger next, although I think he really should have a Magic Wand right now, but...
yeah, I mean, he is so far away from a Blink Dagger considering the situation his team is in. To get that, they would really need some good team fights. They're looking to gank Gyro here with a trio of Tide, Rubik and Lich, but he sees it and runs away. Phase Boot's too good.
Yep, pings went down and immediately he backed out to behind the tower.
Yeah, they kind of positioned themselves weirdly where they could be seen by the creep wave, so he had ample time to use a drum charge and scoot away.
Tree just has hit 6 now, by the way, so Overgrowth also available. So you've got Clockwork is sitting at level 8 and the Treant at level 6.
Yeah, that 10k XP advantage at 15 minutes is definitely being felt.
And yeah, there's not a whole lot Radiant can do right now to force a fight, or even to find the gank. They really should have... I really feel like they probably should have been smoked up if they wanted to go for that gank up top.
Odie was trading with Quab mid for a bit. I actually feel like Odie could have ultied and killed her because she was quite a bit lower before she drank some bottle charges there.
And I actually have a question for you. You play mid a lot, so maybe you might be able to answer this one for me. How do you feel like the bottle change nerf, or the bottle crow nerf, is going to affect mid? Do you feel like we're going to stop seeing a lot of the what do you call it? A lot of the bottle crowing mids, and we're going to start seeing more ones like OD and like more OD, more Queen of Pain, more Puck in it.
Okay, let's see some action going down here.
Yep.
OD banishing Tide. This Tide is way out of position. He's going to be in big trouble, and seems to be not
just not enough to kill her with the ulti, but they are going to turn around and get the Tide. So they do get a kill there. Scores 4-1 right now, and actually we have a dive here.
Going crazy down here. Tier 2. Rocket is after Rubik. That rocket is too low level, yeah.
Yep, just a level 1 rocket, so.
But they do get the tier 1 mid, and they might even push for the tier 2. I feel like they can with the advantage they have at the moment.
Yep. I mean, mech up, level 11 OD, I'd say why not go for it? Gyrocopter doesn't quite have the BKB yet. Yep.
DD room for Clockwork is going to be really painful for anyone on the Radiant team, really.
And he just activates it now. Is going to be looking for a pickoff. Does see Tide out here, and he goes on Tide. Yep, so Tide's going to go down here. Black Hole coming in. Only get the Rubik with it. But everybody's low. Overgrowth comes in, kills, and it's going to be a full team wipe. So we have a full team wipe from OxBros. Gyrocopter actually getting all 4 kills there, except for Clockwork got the Tidehunter to start off with. But I mean that's right there.
That team fight power of the Radiant team that we talked about doesn't really come into action if you don't have that Ravage, which is really the anchor.
Yeah, I mean
team fight.
That's basically exactly what that came down to. And even if he did have the Ravage, he got caught out by the Clockwork, and so. Yeah. There wasn't a whole lot he was going to be doing about that anyway.
Yeah, they're just going to push the tier 3 mid here, it looks like.
Doing a lot of damage to it. Yep. So, I mean, right now, where do you go next if you're the Dire team? Do you just kind of slow push it a little bit more, or do you...
First of all, you just have to get that Tide 6. Without that, I really feel like it's hopeless. Once you have got that, you could try to go for some smoke ganks, maybe try and get some pickoffs. If the Dire team are spread out, you might be able to get something going. Other than that, it's just getting Joe farmed up, which is not going to happen if you got Clock ulti.
Yeah, sure, getting caught out, heading to lane.
Yeah.
Good ward placement right there from the Dire team.
Yeah, that's great ward placement by the Dire team, but I have to say that's also some slight lack of map awareness from the Joe, because they saw them backing off from mid, and she might have assumed that they were rushing, but it's still a really risky move to move so far away from your side of the map that's safe. And she gets punished for it.
Yep. So, score is 10-1 right now, and I mean, if we look at the graphs, gold is already at 15,000. Experience is dipping down below that as well. And with that tower, it's not going to get any easier for the Radiant side. And I mean, looking around at the items that they have, OD starting up a sheepstick, Gyro finished the BKB, actually has the courier going back for it right now. I mean, yeah, they just have pretty much everything they need. The BKB up on Enigma, the Clockwork also maybe be doing a BKB. I'm not. Has an Ogre Club. I'm not really sure.
Probably an Aghanim would be my best guess.
Maybe. But yeah, I mean,
you really need a miracle for the Radiant for them to come back in this game. You're looking at 15k both XP and gold advantages.
I mean, if you really want to see how poor exactly some of these heroes are, Queen of Pain doesn't even have treads up. That is right where they are at. There are no treads up on Queen of Pain right now.
Yeah, she has not been liking that mid matchup.
No, I mean, Rubik has a headdress since the start of the mech. Drow Ranger's sitting on nothing but a Yasha. It's just all around. You don't have a whole lot of anything on anybody.
Yeah.
And right now, here we go. Dire team taking Roche.
But a while ago, you were asking about the impact of the bottle nerf or the nerf to bottle crowing in terms of mid matchups. If you use the speed boost correctly, or if you decide to bottle crow with one charge, so still left in the bottle, the impact of it isn't all that big. However, it will require a slightly more focus to pull it off efficiently, and in the end it does use up the courier a bit more for your team, which is, I mean, is another resource in the game of Dota. So I feel like it's a pretty sweet middle ground that Icebark hit, where
Oh, big Ravage. Actually gets 4 on the Ravage, and they get the OD right away, but it doesn't matter. Gyrocopter pops the BKB. The Chain Frost is going off everywhere. Tidehunter goes down. Lich goes down. Queen of Pain goes down as well, thanks to the OD ult, and that's going to be another full team wipe, and I would be expecting, yep, there it is, GG right now.
I don't know. I feel that was a moral victory for Team GG. They got to use Ravage there.
Yep, that's pretty much what that ended up coming down to. The team.
That to be happy about.
Yeah, OxBros was just a little bit too far ahead.
Oh, the BM black hole.
It's a good thing they all disconnected.
OxBros, I will definitely be posting about this on the forums in a very lengthy fashion.
Screenshots included. But anyway, good game to both these teams, and I hope you guys will join us for game number 2 coming up right after this. Thank you all who have come to watch, and there you go. There's the Ancient. Alright, so thank you very much, guys. We will be coming back after a short break, so stay tuned, okay?